Hey everyone, welcome to the video and thank you so much for joining me. My name's Neil and today we're going to get back to the basics, back to the post-to-post basics. Back in 2017 when I first started the channel and I was just trying to do something different, so I was ranking logos and jerseys and all kinds of things from different leagues around the world. And it's been a while since I've kind of touched on something in the NHL to rank that I haven't ranked before, and I have not ranked these before. Now I've done the main NHL logos, I've done the technical secondary logos at the time, but I've never done shoulder patches. And I thought, well, there's some teams that don't actually use shoulder patches, so this might be a kind of a complicated process. I'm gonna have to come up with rules basically to do this because some teams, like I said, just don't have shoulder patches. So I've come up with the rules, and I don't know if they're gonna be acceptable rules, but it's the best case scenario other than just excluding those teams entirely. So I have gone through, I've looked at all the jerseys, from the main jerseys, you know, home and away, or the alternate jerseys, or the new reverse retro jerseys, or fourth jerseys, or whatever. So I've looked at all the current jerseys, looked at all the shoulder patches, and if any team did not use any shoulder patches on any of those jerseys, what I've done is I've gone back to the last time that they've used a shoulder patch. Now, sometimes that's a Stadium Series game. Sometimes it's an anniversary, you know, 40th year anniversary patch. So technically, it's not really a team patch. It's more of like a specialty patch, but regardless, that's the best I can do. And, well, that's what we're going to do. It's my channel. So this is a subjective ranking, of course. There's no right or wrong here. This is my own personal ranking. I've ranked things 1 to 31, but we're going to go through them in reverse order, 31 to 1. Let's jump on over to the computer and take a look. All right, so I'm at the computer here. I think I made a mistake earlier. I think I may have said 31 teams. There's actually 32 teams. Yes, I have included Seattle into this mix because we have technically seen their jerseys, or 99% of their jerseys. They may make a tweak or something maybe. I don't know, but we have a pretty good idea of what their shoulder patch is going to be, so I included that into this ranking. So there's 32. We're going to go 32 to 1, and let's get into it. First up is the LA Kings. Now, this is very representative of their actual logo that you see on the front of their jersey, which is a fine jersey, or which is a fine logo rather, but it's just been modified basically to be a patch with some years on there, 50th anniversary. I'm just not a fan of that off-white or beige that kind of goes around the logo itself, or the patch itself. It's not a color that they've used prominently in their history, or maybe at all specifically, so it feels off for me. I ain't digging it. Number 31 is actually the Montreal Canadiens. So the last time the Canadiens used a patch was in 2017 during the Ottawa Senators at that 100 Classic game that happened in Ottawa, I believe. And it's a fine patch. I have the jersey with the patch on it, and I like that it symbolizes the city of Ottawa itself with the flag up there on the top of the building. And yeah, I would say that I don't really like when I do rankings, the stuff at the bottom I usually don't like at all. Really, the only one I didn't really like that much was the LA one, just because it was so close to the main logo. Basically, from this point on, I like all these, so I don't really have anything super negative to say really about any of this stuff. Number 30, I chose the Stadium Series patch for the New Jersey Devils. So it says New York on there, but New Jersey just really doesn't use patches. So the last time they did was in 2014 versus the Rangers, and I believe, I don't even remember, I'm assuming it says New York, it's either that or the Islanders, but the colors makes me think it's the Rangers. And yeah, Stadium Series game, it's a fine patch, although it has absolutely nothing to do with New Jersey, which is a bit of a shame and a bit of the reason why I ranked it so low. Number 29, Philadelphia. So kind of like the last one, we've got two teams kind of being represented here, but Philadelphia doesn't use shoulder patches regularly, and the last time they did was last year in 2019 in the Stadium Series against Pittsburgh. So I like the fact that both of the colors are represented here, yellow from Pittsburgh and that orange from Philadelphia. The negative space in the D creates that Liberty Bell from Philadelphia, which is, that's pretty smart from a design perspective, so I really like that. It's just a simple kind of patch. Number 28, I chose the Edmonton Oilers 40th anniversary patch, and the last time I used a patch was last year, 2019. I love the fact that the Stanley Cups are on there. Almost looks like a Game of Thrones, that big chair that they sit in on Game of Thrones. It's just they're all kind of stacked, and it looks like you could kind of like lay out on the top of it or whatnot. And they've got the colors in there. The Edmonton Oilers have a brilliant color combination, so this is a really, really nice patch. But the fact that they don't normally wear a patch and it's just a 40th anniversary patch, kind of felt like I had to rank it a little bit low. Number 27, kind of for the same reason, the Detroit Red Wings just, they don't use shoulder patches. And in 2017 was the last time they did it. This was the farewell season to the Joe, and they honored it in a patch here. And kind of like the one couple of ones ago with the stadium, where the negative space of the D was the bell. In the O here, they've got the negative space being the Stanley Cup, which represents, Detroit's a pretty successful team, so that is definitely deserving to be in there. Also, there's a lot of really good memories from the Joe from the Stanley Cup runs, so yeah, good choices here. Number 26, I put the Ottawa Senators, and this is just kind of an odd one for me. Now, they use this on their current new, I can't even say current because they haven't technically worn it yet, but it is current, I guess. But anyways, they use a version of this on each shoulder, and I think it's mirrored. And on the reverse retro, it's a bit of a sparkle, or maybe it's the opposite, and it's sparkled on the regular ones, and it's not on the reverse retro. Either way, it matches their brand, but the fact that it's not symmetrical, I don't know, it's really throwing me off. So I would say that this is kind of just an average patch, but the fact that they actually do use a patch kind of brings them ahead of the ones that we already saw, for me. 25, I put the Calgary Flames. Now, the Calgary Flames, prior to switching to the retro jerseys, not the reverse retro, the retro jerseys as their primary, so we're kind of going back a year, they used provincial and Canadian flags. So they had the Alberta provincial flag on one shoulder and the Canadian flag on the other shoulder. Technically, those are shoulder patches, but they're not unique. The Alberta provincial flag is an actual thing. The Canadian flag is an actual thing. It felt odd to put those in here since they're not really technically team specific. Luckily, Calgary came out with a reverse retro with a shoulder patch, which symbolizes their actual logo because they've got Blasty on the front there. So this symbolizes their actual logo recolorized. I really like it in white. It looks good on the black outlined in the yellow. Thumbs up. Number 24, the Dallas Stars. So to me, this is just a totally average, kind of like the Senators one, just kind of average. I do like that it's a little bit different though than the rest of the logos that they're using. Obviously, the D in the middle is their primary logo, and they've just kind of added some things around it. So I like the addition. It works with their brand, but it's still basically just average for me. Number 23, that's Anaheim, kind of for the same reason. I love the old school logo. I shouldn't say everyone. A lot of people prefer this logo than the current logo, so I'm glad that they do have it in here in a shoulder patch. But kind of like the last one, it's just average. Number 25, kind of for the same reasons. So a variation of the current logo that they use with some text around it. Simple, it's really simple, just a two-tone patch, white and blue, using their colors. But again, don't want to sound like a broken record, but average. Number 21, I put the Nashville Predators. This is the guitar pick, and it's fine. I really like it actually on the Nashville jersey that I have. I just wish that it was maybe updated somehow. It feels a bit old at this point, and I don't even think it's really that old, to be completely honest. It may have just came in the Adidas years. I'm not familiar. I don't have a Reebok Nashville jersey, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. I feel like maybe it needs a little bit of zazz or something. I'm not sure, and I'm not even sure if that's a word. Number 20, the Vancouver Canucks. Now, I know that I'm in the minority here. A lot of people absolutely love this logo or this shoulder patch, and I've never really been a huge fan of it. And I don't know why. It's just kind of a thing that, I don't know, either you look at it, you like it, you don't, and I just kind of don't really like it that much. I wouldn't say that I don't like it. I don't like it or dislike it. It's just kind of in the middle. However, it matches their brand really, really well. They have that fourth alternate jersey that they do use this as their main logo on the front, and yeah, good for the brand. Number 19, the New York Rangers. So technically they used this shoulder patch in the past, but they've brought it back for the reverse retro jersey with, I think, maybe a tweak as far as it's stitched, but regardless, I do like it more than their actual, it's not on here, but you know what I mean. It's technically their primary logo, but not at the same time because they just use the text on here. New York's kind of an odd team that way. They don't actually use their primary logo on their jersey, which is, I think they might be the only team to do that. But regardless, I like this better than their primary logo currently. I like the bit of a shine on there. It feels a bit old school. Brings me back to the late 90s, so thumbs up there. Number 18, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They do not use a shoulder patch other than the new reverse retro jersey. So, although it is just a maple leaf, it is just blue. There is no text on here. It is not fancy. I like the simplicity of it. It's just simple. Just boom, put it on there. It looks good on gray. And yeah, it's a very clean patch. It's a no-nonsense patch. Number 17, the Seattle Kraken. This is a really brilliant logo. The anchor at the bottom moves up and creates the illusion or the representation of the Space Needle, which is amazing. Really smart design-wise. However, I decided to put it middle of the pack. I mean, realistically, this kind of deserves to be way higher than it is, but the fact that I haven't seen it on an actual jersey yet in my hands, or maybe even a photo up close, I feel like maybe it's safe to kind of put it middle of the pack. Number 16, the Colorado Avalanche. And yes, I have decided not to put this first, even though I absolutely love it. I think it's phenomenal. You old school post-to-post fans are scratching your heads right now as to why this is not first and it's 16th. However, I figured that I would remove my personal bias towards this logo and rank it kind of for what it is. And I know that this would be high on a lot of people's lists. So realistically, it should be quite further down the list. But for that reason, I decided to put it in the middle. Can't get it number 1 for me. Can't get at the bottom for you. So let's settle at the middle. But I secretly love it. Number 15, the Pittsburgh Penguins. I like the throwback to the old school logo here, the patch. They decided to do this on their reverse retro, which is phenomenal. I'm a big fan of this. You don't get the triangle in the background or any other nonsense going on. Yeah, it's a bit cartoony, but it's pretty unique. The Penguin's got skates on. He's got a stick. He's got some old school gloves. At the end of the day, this is a pretty nice patch. Number 14, the Arizona Coyotes. A very unique patch in the NHL. I really like this one, and I think I've said the word patch 350 times in this video. I'm annoying myself, but we're looking at patches, so what else am I going to say? This one's great. I like this one a lot. It is simple. It makes sense to the name of the team, the Coyotes, the brand. It just simply looks good on the shoulder. You know exactly what it is, and in the negative space or the creases of the paw pads is the A for Arizona, which is great. Number 13, the Islanders. So this one was a tough one because the Islanders don't technically have a shoulder patch, and it's been a while since they used one, but they've used kind of some variations, so I might actually be incorrect here in the fact that I chose this one to be their last one that was used, but I think I'm right. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But regardless, I really like this one a lot. It reminds me of the Fisherman years, and I can just see the comments coming in now with the Fisherman jersey, but I really like it. You got the lighthouse in there, which is really representative of their location geographically. The colors are amazing. I love the bright orange with the dark blue, and then that light kind of teal or green that's in there. Whew, that's a nice patch. Wish it would come back. Number 12, the Minnesota Wild. I'm usually not a fan of textual style logos like this. However, this is very simple, very clean. It really does look good on the shoulder of the jersey. If you don't have a Minnesota Wild jersey, I would recommend Googling to see it on the jersey. It is just kind of like the Toronto one. It's just clean. It's just simple. It just works. Number 11, I put the Boston Bruins. Kind of a hard thing to do as a Montreal Canadiens fan, putting the Boston Bruins, any Boston Bruins in the top 15. But there's no denying that this really is one of the nicest shoulder patches in the league. I love the bear on there. It's not some cartoony bear that looks silly or is looking for a hug. That bear is looking for a meal. He looks pissed. The Boston font along the back that's curved fits in nicely. The font in general is really nice. It says Bruins along the bottom. There's dimension to it because of the way that little ribbon at the front kind of goes back, and then the bear or the Bruin kind of is coming through in the middle. Yeah, it's really nice. Number 10, the Winnipeg Jets. I like the simplicity of this one. It looks like the chevrons of something military or Air Force or something you'd see on a uniform. And obviously that's exactly what it's supposed to represent. You got the hockey sticks on there, the Canadian flag, elements of the actual main logo too. This is really nice. I actually wouldn't change anything about this. Number 9, the St. Louis Blues. And I feel like I'm going to get some hate for this as well, but it's bright, okay? It is ridiculously bright. It's in your face. It's the McDonald's kind of style colors and logos. but it is because it is so in your face. It's different, and I like different. And I have the jersey in the background. I took it down, but I have this jersey, the jersey that uses this on the shoulder. Looks great. It is not the best, but I do believe it is top 10. Number 8, I put the Florida Panthers, and this is kind of an odd one because it's not actually technically on their shoulder. It's on the arm right here. And if you notice on the if you look at a jersey with a captain or an assistant, it'll say alternate or captain underneath, I believe, or maybe just over. Sorry, and the number's actually on the shoulder. So even though this isn't on the shoulder physically, it is really meant to be a shoulder patch. So I included it instead of going back in the history and finding something else that was actually on the shoulder. I've chosen this one, and it is great. It is, man, it's fantastic. It is separate. There are separate elements here, disconnected elements. The banner at the top that says Panthers isn't actually connected to what's beneath, which is the panther crawling along the top of a variation of the Florida state flag, and that is an amazing flag. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. Number 7, the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, Chicago's jerseys go back a long time, and there's been variations of this logo. For the most part, they've looked the same. Sometimes there's elements that are skinny and wider and stuff, and the biggest difference are the colors. Sometimes those green, the green handle of the tomahawk or whatever it's called is red, or sometimes it's black, and sometimes the C is red. And so there's a bunch of different variations of this logo that are floating around that have been used on different jerseys depending on what color the jersey is. But I've chosen this one just to showcase because it's my favorite of all of them. It is phenomenal. It is absolutely one of my favorites. That's why it's in the top 10. I like the fact that they haven't really changed it over the years. It's kind of been the same thing for almost decades. Not almost decades, literally decades or more than decades. You know, we're going on maybe 40 plus years of them using this as a shoulder patch, maybe 30 plus, but regardless, they're doing it right. Number 6, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the cannon. I mean, come on. It's the cannon. You can't not put the cannon in the top 10. It's amazing. They need a jersey with just the cannon on the front. But yeah, this looks like a very respectful shoulder patch. It's very old school. It pays respect to kind of what the team represents and why they're named what they are. The cannon is a big part of their culture as well. So, and the colors are obviously great. And the red stripe that kind of goes around it, that kind of represents that pinstripe that goes down the jersey in the dark one. So I like that. It looks good. It looks really good in the jersey. Number 5, I mean, technically, this is a variation of a logo that they now use on the front of their jersey and that alternate stealth or dark one. But this is also a shoulder patch. Now, there's been some variations of this, but regardless of variation, the one I chose is great. It is phenomenal. It is the warning flag with the hockey stick on there, being that big, that big pole. Man, this has been one of the best shoulder patches for a long time in the NHL. So Carolina, I like it. Number 4, the Buffalo Sabres. So this is we're going back, but we're not at the same time, because if you look at the new reverse retro for Buffalo, they're using this on the shoulder, which is an amazing decision. Thank you so much, Buffalo. This is, I wanted to come back so bad on a jersey just to be there in the front. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if that jersey came back? The sales that it would get. Screw reverse retro, bring back the goat head jersey. It would sell like that. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It has nothing to do with the colors of Buffalo Sabres currently, but it needs to be in our lives. So I love the fact that they brought it back and used it on the current reverse retro, although it's not colorized exactly like this. I'm just showing this one for an example. Number 3, the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm not a huge fan of the branding of the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they could have been named something else that would have been maybe a little bit better. However, the brand has really grown on me over the past couple of years, and even from day one, this secondary or this shoulder patch has been, without a doubt, one of the best in the NHL. Love the fact that they're using it, or a variation of it, on their current reverse retro that was just released. I wish the jersey was different, but that logo on the front looks amazing. And yeah, I mean, they got the 2 swords crossed in there. It really is good. Number 2, the San Jose Sharks, which is my second favorite team, but I don't think there's any, I'm not being biased here. This is incredible. This is amazing. He looks pissed. It represents the triangle of the Bay Area in a way. The S at the bottom, you can see in the black, it makes the S coming down, S down there. Oh, the fin and coming. Oh, I mean, this, guys, come on. How can you not have this in your top 10? Like, this is amazing. It is amazing. Okay, number one, which is probably a lot of number ones which is probably number one on a lot of people's list, which doesn't happen very often on my rankings, but I am predicting that a lot of people will have this as their number one, the Washington Capitals Eagle logo. Now this is, and a lot of people, I would say a lot of people, there are some people who don't see the negative space shape here. So the bottom of the eagle, that negative space is actually representing the Capitol building, or the top of the Capitol building. So it's not just empty white space or a different part of the bird or whatever. It has to do with the city. It's perfect. Like, it is perfect. It is the perfect shoulder patch. I hope they never get rid of it. If they want to make some variations of it, change the colors, whatever, I'm fine with that. But I really like this design. I would love to see it on the front of a jersey. It'll probably never happen, but regardless, yeah, not really the biggest Washington fan, but without a doubt, that is the best Washington. That is the best shoulder patch in the league, in my opinion. So. Anyways, I know that not everyone will agree with my list. I'm used to that by now. I've been doing this for almost 4 years exactly. So feel free to disagree in the comments. I kind of like when people disagree. If everybody liked the same things, it would be so boring, right? So tell me your favorite shoulder patch down below in the comment section. Tell me your least favorite, and let me know if you liked my rules the way I did this with kind of going back and regardless. So if you're watching this far, I've got a feeling you like the content, and if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below. 47% of viewers, returning viewers, are not subscribed. So if you're coming back for watching more videos, you probably like the content, and if you do, I thank you, and I just want to hit the subscribe button down below, because that really helps the channel grow. Hit the like button too if you like this video, and I will catch you in future ranking videos coming up soon. Adios.